Why, hello there, and welcome to Two Dudes on the Radio. Welcome to Two Dudes on the Radio.
You're Edward. That's what we're supposed to say.
No! You're supposed to go where the world is wacky, but luckily so are we.
You say, I'm Edward, and I go, and I'm Shaner, and then you say, and then I say where the world is crazy, and so are we.
That is true.
So we can swap it up. You're Edward.
And you're Shaner. Sorry, it took me a minute to think about.
Great opening.
Great opening. Yeah. No, wait, it's not over. Like 2 for 4.
I think last week we got the one episode that didn't upload right. We got the opening right.
Did it? I thought we messed that one up too.
No, we got last week's really good, but of course it was the one we didn't upload.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Yeah. So sorry about last week. Oh, you're right. I shouldn't bang the table. You're absolutely right, Shaner. Sorry, I have a thing with banging tables. Don't look at me like
We're grown up here.
Stop. That's not what I implied. Anything I say should not be used against me. Everything is satire. Please don't hurt me. Anyways, thank you, everyone, for listening in. Sorry about not uploading the YouTube video last week because I'm just tired of trying to fix bad audio.
We don't know what's wrong with the audio, but it wasn't our fault.
Yeah, I think they fixed it this time around, but I don't want to take
We're not taking any chances.
No. So we're actually recording on my iPhone off the lapel mic, which hopefully that works.
I mean, it looks pretty professional.
Yeah, very professional. Right now, the lapel mic, the microphone itself is sitting on the desk in between us, and there's like 2 feet in between us.
Well, there's 2 feet in between us and the microphone.
Yeah, sorry. Yes,
we're not sitting 2 feet apart.
That'd be like very intimate.
Yeah. Not quite. We're not that quite intimate on this show. We used to be. Before you left me.
Are you going to bring this up every single episode?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fine. Anyways, moving on, because I don't feel like talking about this more. If you're not, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where I try to post twice a week, but sometimes
he's doing really good. Leave your feedback. We work hard for this. Leave your feedback. Tell us what you think.
Did you see my latest post for today?
I did, with the crossed out letter and number 4. It looked very nice.
Oh, really? I was going to say, I thought it matched our cringy content. That's what I was going for.
Now, I'm going to reiterate what we said last week because nobody could hear it. But we made a post this week about not watching Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Yes.
That was not reverse psychology. We seriously do not recommend this movie. Yeah, just some precursors because my dad said he was interested in watching it. If you're listening to this, don't watch it. We are completely 100% serious. There is no reverse psychology.
No.
Don't watch this film.
Yes, no, that was the movie you watched and reviewed last week, which it went on the lowest bottom of our list for B movies. It was bad.
Yeah,
anyways, before we get into it, because we could spend a whole segment on that and atrocity.
We did.
So, this week for your questions, we got some spicy ones, I think, Shane.
Ooh, spicy questions.
Yes, spicy questions. So, we're going to start off with the first one, which came courtesy of, his name's John? Josh. Sorry.
Josh, if you're listening, I got you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Josh. I don't actually listen or talk to you much. Anyways, so his question for us. What's Josh's last name?
Miller.
Thanks, Josh Miller. So, his question is, why does pizza, which is circular, come in a square box?
I think it has to do with the easiness of folding, if I had to guess.
Like folding the box?
Yeah, folding the box. And transporting even. Like
I could
squares just fit so well into corners and stuff. So if you had to pack like a truck or like a carrying box, squares are just the universal like shape. Squares do everything.
Okay. I mean I think that's the most basic answer.
Yeah, folding. That's my answer. It's how they have to fold and transport the boxes.
I wonder how more expensive. I wonder if it would be more expensive to create a circular box. How much more expensive it would be to create a circular box in comparison to the normal square boxes we get.
Well, I think it would probably, in the long run, be more expensive to make square boxes because there's slightly more volume. If you made a circle box that directly matched the diameter of your pizza, then that would be less cardboard. So in the long run, like years and years down the line, it would be more cost effective to make circle boxes. But you also have to look at the fact of, if you make a circle box and it's the exact diameter of your pizza, like I think Josh was implying,
right?
How do you get the pizza out?
That is true. Well, you leave like a little bit of like room on the outside.
Well, then your pizza just shifts around.
Well, it does that in a square box, anyways.
Does it?
Yeah.
Are
You've never shaken a pizza in a pizza box?
No, I don't usually shake pizzas.
I've done it. There's a little room.
Why?
You go shh, 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 shh.
I guess maybe I have done that.
Yes.
You're true. You're right.
Yeah. Plus, how would you make cardboard circular? Like, you'd have to, like, curve
But I'm gonna
it.
introduce you the concept of knives that can cut circles into things.
No. That's not what I mean.
First grade cutting skills.
No. So think, like, so you're the bottom, which is a circle. That's easy enough. Like, cut out
Are
your
you talking
circle.
about the rim?
No. I'm talking about, like, the sides of the box. They're
Yeah,
going to have
so
to be
the rim.
spherical.
No,
or
it
cylinder.
Yeah, you would just take a
Yeah.
long strip, and you would just put it around there. You know what I mean?
I guess. I would think that would cause problems for the cardboard, but I guess not. Okay.
It would cause problems for the folding technicalities of it, not necessarily for the box itself, but for folding the box, it would cause problems.
That is true. You'd have to find a new way to package it, and
So our answer, I think, still stands at ease of folding.
is the issue.
Yeah. And again, squares are just a universal shape. They're just... And it's easier to, I think, transport the unfolded boxes. Like, if you had a circle like we just talked about, you'd have to have... So that rim, the circle rim, would become a straight line on the outside of a circle. Think geometry.
Right.
Not to get into the math of it. But if you ever seen a cylinder deconstructed in a geometry textbook, it's huge. Versus a square is just like, a rectangle and it's unfolded. It's a lot easier to store. So I'm going to go with convenience.
Yeah.
Convenience, Josh. That is the reason why pizza boxes are square and not circular. If anyone out there is listening and they're a tycoon in the pizza business and you know about this stuff,
Papa John.
hit us up. If Papa John is listening, we want to know. Hit us up, Papa John. We want to know about this pizza scandal. The Pizza Hut, if the Pizza Hut is listening, we want to know. Little Caesar, you name it. Domino's.
I don't think I want Little Caesar on this show. Not that I
What's
have
wrong with
anything
Little
against
Caesar?
Little Caesar. Well, it's like the dollar store version of grocery stores.
Yeah, but we're just getting their opinion. Everyone's got to have an opinion on this.
I mean, true. Probably.
So, well, I think Domino's has started doing almost circular boxes. They've cut the corners.
Yeah,
off
they have
theirs.
cut the corners, but I would think that would be more money. Because then you have to, instead of like just letting the box go the normal way, you have to make an addition to it,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
curving stuff. I could be wrong. I could
And
be
it's
totally
also
wrong.
just the square is just a classic. Like, why change what isn't broken?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that is true.
When was the last time you were inconvenienced by a square pizza box?
That is true.
I can't think of one time.
Here's the other side of it. How much would you save in use of cardboard if you use circular compared to square?
It wouldn't
You'd
matter
shave off the
unless the
corners.
long run, I would say. But then you could just recycle it. So either way,
But let's face
It's-
it, how many people actually recycle
that's the
their
thing.
cardboard?
So are we going to blame the pizza companies for the consumers not recycling their cardboard?
Well, no.
Who's at fault here?
That's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm suggesting is that if you put less cardboard in the pizza box, and that's already less that's been used, and thus therefore helping the environment.
But you
cutting
also
out
have to
trees and
consider the what's the word I'm looking for here? The manufacturing that would go into making a circular pizza box. That's a little bit more of a process, therefore maybe costing more resources. In the
Perhaps.
long run. Again, this is all in the long run. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to affect within a year if we cut, 4 square inches of cardboard off a pizza box. But if you multiply that years down the road, the cost of the resources to make these pizza boxes circular, or the cost of cutting the cardboard off of them, it could add up. So,
It could.
to
Okay.
answer your question, Josh, convenience. I think that's our answer. Do we have a
That
consensus?
says Eddie and Shanner.
Yes. But if Papa John is out there and you have a different answer, we would love to hear it. That's our offer.
He's not technically Papa John anymore.
What is he now?
Well, didn't you hear about the whole scandal?
Oh, yeah. What is he now? Like,
No, he's nothing. He got kicked
Father
off.
John?
No, he got kicked
Sounds like a
off. From...
priest.
Oh, wait, he's a priest now?
I don't know.
I didn't
just
hear that.
Father John sounds like a priest.
No. He got kicked off of Papa John's for pretty much political business reasons.
When political business just gets in the way of your
Yeah, I
being
know.
the Papa John. Is his name even John anymore? What is it? Dale? I don't know. Nothing wrong with
No,
the name
his
Dale.
actual name. I watched a podcast with H2H2. I don't know if you've heard of H2H2.
It sounds
but
familiar.
They had Papa John there. He explained the whole situation from his side. His name's actually John.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, his name. Papa might actually be his name too. I forget.
That's crazy. Can you imagine your name being Papa John? Like, that's on your license?
Well, no. I think... I try to remember now. Like, John might be his... No. I forget. Papa's linked to him somehow. Like, it's always been his nickname or something like that.
Yeah.
But, anyways.
Cool.
He actually uses that in real life.
Anyways, okay. No longer Papa John. If you have the answer, and you're looking to get, a stab in the back at the pizza company for throwing you out, hit us up. We'll expose the secrets on air.
That's like an extra sponsor of the week.
Pizza Box sponsorship.
Okay.
Next question.
Do we want to go on? Yeah, we talked about it a lot. All right, so next question. This comes courtesy of my mother.
Oh, mothers.
Thanks, Mom. How would life change for us if the roads became water? So, like, essentially, if roads became rivers.
Well, boat traffic would go up by like 100%.
I think over 100%.
But I think we would see a lot of boats made out of cars. We wouldn't build new boats. Think of like, have you ever seen Waterworld?
I've not.
It's a post-apocalyptic movie where the whole Earth floods and they build all these crazy boats and stuff. It's like Mad Max, but with boats.
Oh.
So I think, I guess you could just look at what's that city? Venice? Yeah, Venice.
Yeah, Venice with the canals.
Water. Yeah, the canals. It's basically the same thing, except I think we'd Americanize it.
Yeah, probably. So you're looking at it from the perspective of, let's just say the roads literally became rivers right now and everyone had to adapt.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are you talking about a gradual introduction?
I mean, no, let's go with it. Why not?
I would say if that happened all of a sudden, there would be a mass panic as everyone's cars start to sink.
There'd be a lot of drowned people.
And you'd have to clear the cars out of the canals before you start doing anything with them. So that would take a massive undertaking.
Would you, though?
I mean, you have to consider how deep would these canals be.
That's true.
If we're talking 40 feet deep, then no, you don't have to clear out the cars. They're just going to be a nuisance. But if they're only 6 feet deep, let's say, just enough to put a boat through, you're going to run into those cars eventually.
Yeah.
So I think there would be a massive undertaking. So that would get more difficult at first, but eventually we would adapt. I mean, we didn't have roads at one point. All of a sudden now we've got roads and automobiles. I think if roads became rivers, it would suck at first, but we would adapt and it would be amazing. I'm a big fan of boats, if you didn't know.
Are you now?
I love boats.
Don't you have a phobia of getting close to a boat in water? Is that someone else?
That's different. I like being on the boat.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want to be swimming in the canal with a boat beside me. Maybe like a canoe, an argument could be made, but anything bigger than like a canoe or a kayak,
Okay.
forget it. Yeah, it's called, I don't remember the name of the phobia, but it's real.
Okay. I mean, hey, if you have it, you have it. I can't.
Yeah, some people hate spiders. I do hate spiders. I have a fear of swimming next to boats in open water. Or closed water. Or any water.
Any type of water?
Any type of water. If there's a boat in it that's bigger than like a kayak or a canoe, I'm not swimming next to it.
Okay, so next point on this question. Do you think, what would happen to car dealerships?
They would become boat dealerships, I think.
Okay.
Well, let me rethink that. Do you think car dealerships would go out of business and boat dealerships would move in? Like, would we see the fall of Chevy and now a new company, I don't know, like called, let's say, not Chevy, come in and start
That's a horrible name.
Start making boats? Or do you think would Chevy start making boats? So the question,
I think it depends on the not versatility, the adaptability of each company. Yeah. So I feel like at first, like, of course the car dealerships are going to struggle because literally no money will be made.
Right.
But over time, I feel like some are going to change to boats. They're going to put their engines in boats.
Chevy would switch to boats. Ford wouldn't. Ford would go out of business.
Well, here's the other side of it. They then switch to all-terrain vehicles. So yeah, Jeep would be fine, or whoever owns Jeep.
Yeah, Jeep would definitely be fine because you still need vehicles. Yeah. Just the roads have turned to water, so you still need like outdoor vehicles. So I'd say Jeep would definitely stay in business for both all-terrain vehicles and still land vehicles. Chevy would make boats. Ford out of business. I imagine they're too proud to make a boat.
I think Ford owns Jeep.
Well, then they'd be fine.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong about that.
But I could see Chevy making boats. They don't know why. It just gives me the vibe that they'd make fancy little boats for everyone.
Possibly.
So yeah, I think it would be terrible at first, but people would adapt because we always adapt. And yeah, we'd be fine.
Cabela's in like Bass Pro Shop would make bank off of their canoes and
Well,
kayaks.
do you think the waterways would get flooded with animals then?
What do you mean flooded with animals?
Like, do you think the the waterways would stay not necessarily clean because there's going to be pollution,
Right.
but do you think natural wildlife would take up residence there?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
So then we could see.
That's what wildlife does. It just takes over and
That's true.
perseveres. So yeah, you'd get like fish and frogs.
That would be neat. You start seeing the development, maybe like those glass bottom boats
Oh yeah, that would be
with
pretty
fish
neat.
underneath. That'd be really fun. This is a great idea.
Unless there's sharks.
I like the way your mom thinks.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. Now here's the other side, which I think would be more realistic. They just build bridges over the roads and then, bridges over the rivers and then build more roads.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's what would happen, realistically.
Really, yeah.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, it depends. I think at this point, if this had happened, maybe like when cars started getting developed, or even let's say 1970s, as a random number. But I think at this point there are just too many automobiles, and people are too used to automobiles.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd see a shift in power. Maybe rednecks would become like the new ruling class because they have boats, and like people, like us, we don't have any boats. I mean, I think I have a kayak lying around, but do you have a boat?
I mean, I live in an apartment, so no.
See,
I know how to row a boat, though. I have done that before.
But if you didn't have a boat, you'd be less well off than, let's say, a Greene County redneck, which, believe me, we have plenty of here.
Oh, yeah.
With plenty of boats.
Do they actually know how to control a boat, though?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fishing,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Do you know how big fishing is around here?
No, you're right.
It's pretty big.
I forgot about that,
If you don't know how to control a boat, there's no need for fishing. Unless you just fish off the shore. But people around here take fishing pretty seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it'd be hard I think people will find a really hard time to adapt.
Oh, definitely.
And then there's the side of propaganda, because then car dealerships might, use media as, a tool to, convince people to, just build new roads.
Yeah.
Convince people to tell the government to build new roads.
That would be a slogan. Build new roads. Chevy.
Yeah.
I can hear it, yeah, a catchy country western song written by, I don't know, some artist you've never heard of, and they were only used for this commercial.
Oh shoot, what's his name? Is Eric Shelton one?
Sure.
I think. Yeah, sure.
That works.
Eric Shelton.
And he'd write a song called
Build
New Roads.
Build new roads.
And it'd be really inspiring, and people would be like, yeah, patriotism, we gotta build new roads and new roads.
The progressives are going to talk about beers and tractors on a river.
Yep.
Except, no, actually, you can't put tractors on the river. It'd be
Nonsense.
beers and girls on your boats.
You could put tractors on the river, they'd find a way. Water tractors. We're going to be the pioneers. When this happens, water tractors, we're going into business together. Ed and Shaner's water tractors. We'll make a killing.
We're going to harvest those
Farm
kelp.
coral reef.
Yo, sushi might take off after that.
It would, yeah. You could have, sushi stands that float down the river like hot dog carts. But sushi carts that just, float down the river. Fresh catch, you chop it up right there.
Yeah, maybe.
This is the other thing we're doing. We sell tractors, water tractors, and fresh sushi.
Bam.
We're geniuses.
Monopoly right there.
Boom.
All right. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we should move on.
Yeah, we should move on. Okay. Our next segment is a hole in the wall. Running a business that you wouldn't normally find. I gotta find a better catchphrase for that. I keep changing it every week.
Well, yeah, we're testing things out.
Well, I don't know. It's already weird enough name for show as it is. So I have to explain it. So I don't know.
We'll workshop it.
So Shaner, have you ever wanted to buy a kangaroo?
Never crossed my mind, but were it presented to me, I'd consider it.
Wow, you have that option actually on exotic animals for sale.
Oh boy.
Think of it like the Craigslist of exotic animals.
This is concerning.
I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. So basically, like I said, this site's pretty much set up like Craigslist.
Just like
for the
Poach
most
List.
part. What?
Poach List.
It's not poaching, because it's not like, oh, you can have not exotic, an extinct animal or in rare species.
You can't have an extinct animal.
Not well.
Well, there goes my
it's-
plans to have a dodo.
It's not like a company selling exotic animals. It's like
Oh.
other people that have exotic animals that are
Right.
selling it or want some.
Okay.
Okay. So like, that's why I say Craigslist, because it's other people selling to other people, pretty much.
Craigslist.
So there's a bunch of like classify, submit information links. There's a bunch here, but we're gonna look over four the main categories: submit an animal for sale,
Okay.
submit animal equipment for sale,
Ooh.
submit an animal you want, or submit an animal auction. Okay, so we're gonna go through these one by one. Now we're gonna go with submit an animal for sale. So they're not kidding when they say exotic animals. Like when I was looking through it the other day, I'll take a look now, but it's mostly monkeys, especially like spider monkeys.
Think those are popular? Like,
Those are the most listings that I found.
I guess if you were a zoo, what's the word I'm looking for? Procure. What do you call those people? They procure things.
I don't know what you're talking
Who runs the museums? You know, the
curator.
curator. If you were the curator of a zoo, you wanted a monkey, I guess you could use this site, but I don't think monkeys are that in
No,
demand.
you're
are they?
you're misinterpreting. It's regular people owning exotic animals.
So why are monkeys so in demand?
So Susan down the street could own a monkey.
Well, Susan down the street would have a mess. Like, go for something at least a little more hygienic.
Well, hold on. I'm just saying that those are the main.
Oh, okay.
I mainly saw that there were monkeys, especially spider monkeys. There were a lot of other options. For instance, I saw sloths.
Ah, yes, now you've got my attention.
There were a few sloths. Sugar gliders.
Really?
Yeah. Which, if you don't know what a sugar glider is a
It's like a flying squirrel
Yeah.
with a better face.
yeah, pretty much actually. A wallaby. There was a listing for a wallaby
Wow.
and a kangaroo. And I think if I want to go back, because I think it's updated. This site is actually live, by the way. There are listings constantly. It just got updated today. So this is an active site. It's not kidding at all. Oop, that's not what I want to do. Let's go to the actual thing.
Yeah, give us some prices. I'm curious.
List animals for sale. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
Let's play.
is the
Guess the
wrong-
price of that animal.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea. I didn't think about that. But yeah. All right. So
You give me an animal, I'll guess its price.
Locken chinchilla, which means it has curly hair. Chinchilla with curly hair.
I'm going to go, since it's a smaller animal, I'm going to lowball you at $200.
I can't see it on the. I gotta click in and see what it says. Hold on.
Guess holding at $200. Chinchilla goes for.
It does not. Why is the website like this? It's all messed up. It's like all spaced out. Hold on, I'll find it eventually.
Because it's illegal.
Comments. I mean, listen. If the government would have shut it down, it would have shut it down a while ago. Why?
I
Can't
don't think that's
see
how
the-
government works.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
I
Okay,
mean, the
so
dark web still exists.
I mean, yeah, but that's like that'd be hard. Okay, so I can't see the prices. That's weird because I was able to see the prices.
We're going to say the chinchilla is
Somewhere else.
$200 then. It sounds like a good price for a chinchilla.
I did see the sugar gliders that I mentioned. They were selling for like $250 a piece.
See, that's about the same. Yeah, and a sugar glider is a little bit more than a chinchilla.
Yeah, a little bit more.
I think if we had to have a ranking system, it would be chinchillas, then sugar gliders, then sloths.
I can't remember the last time I've looked at a sugar glider besides when I looked at this like a couple days ago.
I can picture what they look like. They've got huge bug eyes. And
Yeah. Anyways, so hedgehogs. You get
are
little
hedgehogs
little
really
baby hedgehogs.
exotic?
I mean, they're not exactly common.
Yeah, I don't know if I classify them as exotic though.
Yeah, I mean,
They kind of
they're
go into
not
the
normal.
common class of animal for me. I think like hedgehogs, just like sloth. You hear that and you're like, yeah, that's exotic.
Yeah, I guess.
Hedgehog.
Well, oh, you're into sloth shirt. I didn't even realize
Yeah,
that.
I love sloths. Sloths are my favorite.
What was I saying?
Like, imagine you're some British curator and you're like, yes, look at my fancy animal collection.
Mm-hmm.
This is the three-toed sloth. This is the albino chameleon. This is
Yeah.
the sugar glider straight from the Amazon. And this is my hedgehog, Steven.
Well, did you know that owning hedgehogs illegal in Pennsylvania?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know. It just is.
Is it one of those stupid laws that make no sense? Like one of those,
Probably.
you can't wear,
Well, actually, it might have to do with like
red
being
on a
invasive
Tuesday or
species.
something. Oh, that's true.
Maybe that's
Are
probably my
hedgehogs
thinking.
predators?
I have no clue. No, they probably like eat vegetation, and that would ruin things. That's my
Stupid
guess.
hedgehogs.
But they're not illegal in New York.
Why do you know this? These are oddly specific hedgehog facts.
So I had a friend that wanted to get a hedgehog. They lived in Pennsylvania. They couldn't. So she
Please tell me she did not
researched it,
move
and
to
she-
New York just to own a hedgehog.
Well, she eventually did move to New York, but she
Was she
was
that
moving. No,
desperate?
no. She was moving to New York, and because of that, she looked up if hedgehogs were illegal, and they were.
Was it Susan?
No. This is someone from back from
Well, if you're out there and you're listening,
Yeah,
I
shout out
appreciate your
Kayla.
commitment
in your check
to your hedgehogs.
You haven't talked about, hit me up. Anyways, so other animals on the list. A Digos, which is kind of like a cross between a rabbit and a rat, sort of.
That sounds hideous.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Savannah kittens.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
those sound pretty cute.
I mean, they are kind of. They're wild kittens. So yeah, those are the main. Those are some like general animals that I saw. I didn't really go too deep. I think I went back a few months and saw. But anyways, next list, equipment.
Ooh, equipment.
There wasn't a whole lot,
Hedgehog
but there was
saddle.
some. I think there was hedgehog equipment. There's also actually
What?
sugar glider equipment.
Like a little saddle for an action figure.
So here, let me pull it up because I was smart and.
If I had a sugar glider, I could build a little saddle for it, put an action figure on top of
Yeah,
it.
sure. Yeah, chinchilla supplies, chinchilla wheels, dusting box, and a collar system.
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
Yeah, aluminum cages. Let's see, more sugar glider stuff. Caracol. That's something else. Never mind. I don't know what this is. Hydraulic elk chute. I don't know what that is.
Hydraulic elk chute. Chute as in CHUTE?
No, SHOOT. Yeah, I think.
Sounds like a bullet, maybe. That you
No,
use.
no. So in the description, they listen to this. Hydraulic chute for elk. That's the description, pretty much. So I'm kind of scared to look that up.
Yeah, I don't quite know. I have several ideas, but I'm not sure.
No idea. Bathing dust.
What is regular dust not good enough?
A dromedary camel saddle.
They sell camel saddles?
There's a camel saddle on sale. Though it's here for $1, that can't be right. There must be something up with that. Bird cages, chain link. You also have people that like post their animals on the animal equipment page.
This
which
sounds
is kinda
kind of
lame.
like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Money laundering organization? Yeah, you bought this saddle for $1. It doesn't have money stuffed in the leather.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's transportation cages, so you can like stick it on the back of your truck and it'll be safe. Yep, that's pretty much the gist of it. Oh, a trailer to stick your... Oh, a trailer with a truck attached to it to, transport your animals. Do you want to guess where these people are from, Shana, that are selling these animals?
Ooh.
I'm going to give you a hint. There's no one place. It's a few places.
The Middle East.
No.
Is it in the left or the right of the world? Like if you're looking at a flat map,
Oh, it's in the right. Okay, I'm gonna make it even easier. They're all in America.
that would be the left.
Oh, did I say right?
You did. Basic geography.
I meant
Lefts and
sorry.
rights. Okay.
That's just poor hand-eye coordination.
It's either going to be Florida, Texas, or California.
California was not one, actually.
Yeah,
I did not. Well, I didn't see California. The main ones I saw were Missouri, Florida, New York, and Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yes.
I don't think of wild and exotic animals when I think of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna move on because we're already halfway through the show, Shane. It's already
Can you believe
5:30. I know.
Time flies
It's
when
going crazy.
you're, making fun of each other.
Anyways, I won't go into the rest. The auctions aren't that popular. There was one listing for like a Madjuk, which is like an Asian deer. Now the wanting listings. You can list what you want on there, and that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
the crazy stuff is.
I can imagine.
That's where you get the people saying, "Oh, I want a giraffe," or "Oh, I want a fox," or
Oh,
"Oh,
giraffe.
I want a wolf," and just stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm listing for a giraffe. So that's where, if you want a good laugh, you can go there and see what people want. But people are not selling anything there on the site. Well, that I saw.
Yeah, you have to check back. You have to keep with it. If you want that animal, you have to keep with it. So why don't you tell us who this student of the week is?
Oh, that's a great idea. Well, our student of the week is Elijah Johnson.
Good job, Elijah.
Good job, Elijah. You done did it.
You know what you did.
So our next segment.
The Bible Spark Notes Edition.
Da, da, da.
Now this week I've got a decently popular story, but we're going to review it because not everyone knows it. It's the story of Eglon, the king of Moab.
Isn't that the really fat dude?
It is. Don't spoil the story.
I'm sorry.
We're getting there.
My bad.
So this story comes to us from Judges, Old Testament book. It's in Judges chapter 3. I can tell you, really entertaining over there.
Hey.
Entertained with my
Shaner.
story.
What version are you using?
The NIV.
I'm going to keep asking you.
Just
you...
kidding, it's the NASB.
I was like, oh,
What did I
whoa.
tell you? It'll always be the NASB. So basically, Eglon's this big king, and I don't mean big as in like he has a lot of power, though he does. He's a big, fat
Right.
guy. I mean, not to be rude, he just is. So
Naturally girthy, you know?
he's ruling over, the Israelites, and they're suffering. Anytime, literally, you can see any time in the Old Testament when a king comes in and takes over, it's not good. It always ends up badly,
Yeah,
The
usually.
people whine. God frees them.
I want a king.
God oppresses them with a king. They cry for deliverance. They get delivered. They go back to whining and complaining. It's a constant cycle. So this is part of that cycle. Now hear this, okay?
All right.
But when the sons of Israel cried to the Lord raised up a deliverer for them, Ehud, the son of Gera, the Benjamite, a left-handed man. Now that comes back later. It doesn't just say that for no reason. And the sons of Israel sent tribute by him to Eglon, king of Moab. Ehud made himself a sword which had 2 edges, basically meant it was sharp on both sides, a cubit in length, and he bound it on his right thigh under his cloak. That's also important. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now, Eglon was a very fat man. There's just no going around that. The Bible just spits it out.
Very fat.
Very fat man. It came about when he had finished presenting the tribute that he sent away the people who had carried the tribute. But he himself turned back from the idols which were at Gilgal, I'm not good at names sometimes, and said, I have a secret message for you, O king. So he turns to the king and says, I have a secret message for you. And he said, keep silence. And all who attended left him. Ehud came to him while he was sitting alone in his cool roof chambers. You have to imagine, it's hot. We're in Israel. It's the desert.
Okay.
And, Ehud's probably, or Eglon's probably really hot. I mean, he has a lot of body mass. He's probably sweating a lot. There's just no escape from it. So he's in his cool roof hut chamber, where he can cool off and just relax and not have to worry about being king too much.
Pause. I'm going to make a bad joke. If you've ever been in Williston, you know what fat sweat smells like. Sorry, continue. Not Williston, sorry, Martin. If you've ever been to Martin, you know what fat sweat smells like. Sorry, continue.
Ooh. Now it says, Ehud stretched out his left hand, took the sword from his right thigh, and thrust it into his belly, meaning Eglon's belly. Now this is where it gets crazy. The handle also went in after the blade, and the fat closed over the blade, for he did not draw the sword out of the belly, and the refuse came out. You can imagine, the refuse came out. Meant he pooped himself.
Squirt, squirt, squirt.
Yeah. Then Ehud went out from the vestibule and shut the doors of the roof chamber behind him and locked them. When he had gone out, his servants came and looked, and behold, the doors of the roof chamber were locked, and they said, He is only relieving himself in the cool rooms. And they waited until they became anxious. But behold, he did not open the doors of the roof chamber. Therefore they took the key and opened them, and behold, their master had fallen on the floor dead. So, crazy story there.
That's a long story.
Ehud, the assassin, he gets raised up, and he's going to free the Israelites. Now, why is it important that he's left-handed, you ask?
Why is that important?
Because back then, most people were right-handed.
Right.
So where would you put your sword?
On your left side.
On your left side. So when he went to see the king, he probably wasn't allowed to keep his weapons. So they searched his left side, and there's no sword there. They didn't search his right side, because why would you draw your right... Why would you draw the sword from your right side with your right hand? So that's why it makes specific detail. I read that in an article, I don't remember where. But it's a cool little detail to show you how he got past the king's guards. So, then he brings tribute to the king, and the king's all happy, probably, and then he stays behind. He's like, hey, I have a message just for you. And imagine the king's feeling pretty proud of himself. He's like, ha, this is God's chosen man, and he's got a message for me. What's it gonna be? Then Ehud steps up and, stabs him with a sword, And then the fat just closes over this sword. Imagine being Ehud in this situation.
Yeah.
You've just stabbed this guy. It sounds almost like a supervillain, in a Marvel comic book. Mm-hmm. He just swallows your sword inside his fat.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
He made that sword himself. Can you imagine how disgusting it must have been? What
if he, dropped the sword, let go of it for a second, ugh.
Yeah, it probably started to close around the blade, and he's like, oh, man, what's this? And you let go, and it just... Hope the mic picked up that sound effect. There goes your sword. So I have to imagine the sword's buried inside this guy. That can't be good for him.
Probably not, no.
Then he loses all bodily functions and just,
flops down.
He just poops himself and dies. What a sad ending,
It's a pretty...
It's a humbling ending. But then it gets even better. Mm-hmm. Because Ehud's like, well, that was fun. And he leaves, and he locks the doors behind him, and his servants are just like, well, the doors are locked, but you know what?
He's fine.
He's hot. He's just relieving himself. It's a hot day, and he's in his cool chamber. He's just relieving himself, We better not open the doors. Right. They're still waiting, and you imagine probably a couple hours. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the scent when they open that door? You have to imagine. Big guy.
I don't think I want to.
Sweating a lot. He pooped himself, and he'd been dead for several hours in the desert with no air conditioning. No matter how cool that roof chamber was, it still had to be hot. It was the desert in an enclosed space.
Yeah, no.
Can you imagine? That scent would have probably killed the guards on sight.
Yeah.
What a fascinating story, isn't it?
It makes you wonder, why they included that story. I forget why that pertains to anything.
It's just part of the history.
Yeah.
The better question is... Well, I would say the better question is why did he have to do all that gross detail? But it's just kind of telling the story.
Yeah.
It's not the author's fault that Eglon was kind of fat. And it's not the author's fault that Ehud decided to stab him in the stomach.
Yeah. Who wrote Judges?
I think it was written by a series of judges. But again,
what?
I'm not an Old Testament expert. The authorship of the Old Testament is very complicated.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
You can't always trust what the name of the article is. But if anyone's out there listening, like Josh Sumter or any other biblical professor, tell us, who wrote Judges? Or who do they think wrote Judges? It's not always actually known. There's a lot of contested ones.
Yeah. I mean, it was written how long ago? 5,000?
A long time
ago. No, not
ago.
5,000, sorry. I don't know.
A long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
A galaxy very far, far away.
Even though it's nothing to do with time. I slightly botched that up.
Well, I think that leaves us some more time to talk about our final segment, because we can use some time to talk about the segment.
Well, before we do you want to talk about this more? Do you have anything else to add? Because I really don't. I mean, the story kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, it is what it is, and you have to kind of accept it, Just realize what it is. It's gross, but it's history. That's what happened.
Actually, here's a lesson. I think we can apply this to real life. Here's how. If you get stabbed by a sword and your stomach fat swallows up the sword, I think that's a message that you need to lose weight.
Yeah.
I think that's the message.
The good message. And if you're a king, always make sure to have your servants check both sides of your enemy's cloak.
That's
Make
true,
sure there's no swords hiding there.
See, people really don't carry swords. They carry little pistols and stuff.
Check both sides of your enemy's legs to make sure they're not concealing pistols on either side.
Just check everywhere. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Even their mouth. You never know, you might be concealing a gun in your mouth. That's a crazy James Bond thing, but it probably happened.
I could see someone having a patch in their mouth to cover up, I don't know, a vial of poison.
I'm talking about just having a tiny pistol in there.
Oh, okay.
That's
you
don't
really
usually
small
think
pistol.
Yeah, but there's been small pistols. All you need is just a small enough pistol to create a
big
small
enough
hole.
mouth.
Big enough mouth. So
There
like
you
a
go.
baby probably wouldn't be able to smuggle a pistol.
Probably
in.
not. No.
It would probably choke.
Probably.
So don't use your babies to smuggle pistols.
That's another.
That's another saying. Add that on the list. Don't use your babies to smuggle pistols.
Well, Shaner, do you want to tell people our sponsor for the week? Or
Oh,
possible
yes.
sponsor of the week?
Our
sorry.
possible sponsor is the Pepsi Cola Company.
Ow!
If you sponsor us, we will live stream ourselves chugging 10 bottles of Pepsi.
I will drink Mountain Dew every show.
I will drink
And
Pepsi
Pepsi.
every show, and we will do a live stream chugging 10 bottles each.
Well, okay.
I will chug 10 bottles
You just want to chug bottles of.
and get
Thanks.
paid for it. That's the difference.
That is true.
So Pepsi, if you're listening, we love Pepsi.
We do like Pepsi.
Pepsi's pretty good.
I feel like they want a little more though, because like us drinking Pepsi is more of a thing we want to do. I think we need a little more to entice them than just like our brand, because like we don't have video.
Yeah.
So I think I know we'll make a show segment based on Pepsi Fizz compared with Coke Fizz. Because the thing with Coke is they always like emphasize like their fizz when you first open the can. We'll show why Pepsi Fizz is so much better.
We'll add a new segment: Pepsi versus Coke.
There we go, and we'll automatically say Pepsi is better.
So yeah, Pepsi, if you're listening, we will promote you, but we will still also chug your soda. That's still on the table.
Okay, you can do that.
I will.
I drink enough soda as it is.
You think I don't? But for getting sponsored on the show, I am willing to risk chugging more.
Okay, fair enough. We do a lot for you guys on this show. Watch
Yeah.
bad movies, drink a lot of soda.
It's a hard
Necessary.
life.
It's really hard. Show life is not what it seems to be.
Yeah, show business isn't a pleasure cruise.
Showbiz. All right. Do you want to introduce the movie? Sorry, our next segment is that's why they're called B. Wait, that's not the name. They're called B movies for a reason.
That
There
works.
you go.
Either way, it works.
Well, I try to keep it consistent. They're called B movies for a reason, where we review a B movie, non-spoilers. Probably.
This week, we review the superhero genre, with one I've been personally avoiding, but decided to finally break down and watch, Spaghetti Man.
Da, 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 da.
Now you can imagine by its name, it's a superhero film about a man whose powers are based on spaghetti.
Pretty much.
It's your basic Spider-Man style story, but with spaghetti.
So let's walk you through the story for a little bit. So this movie was made in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main character, named Clark, he's pretty much your guy that would live in the bottom of your mom's basement.
Yep.
Except he's not living in his mom's basement. He's living with a friend in an apartment. I think it is
Something like
yeah, living with or a flat.
Something.
Yeah, it's like a flat or apartment. But he's living there with a friend, and the movie opens up with him just getting laid off from a job. And I mean, this guy's a truly obnoxious jerk.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he ate a guy's. So he was a pizza person, and so well, I won't say that, but he lost his job because he was being selfish. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And then he gets home, and then he convinces his roommate, who was very nice, Dale, right?
Yeah, Dale.
Yeah.
Dale, the roommate, is a great character.
Very, very nice guy. And so Dale's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll cover the rent this month. Don't worry about it." He's like, "Yeah, And then Clark's like, "Yeah, I mean, you might have to cover it like 3, 5, 6, 9 months
He's
because
taking
like
advantage of Dale.
you're pretty much taking advantage of Dale." So off the bat, very not nice dude. And what happens next?
So
The beginning's kind of rushed because the
Yeah.
latter half of the movie. Sorry.
he goes out with Dale the next day. And
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Dale insists he gets a job, so he sets up an interview and takes him out for spaghetti for lunch. Set up.
Spoilers, not really spoilers. It epically fails.
Yeah, so
He does not get hired.
all I can say is that he gets his powers from the spaghetti. The movie doesn't even really explain that much. The spaghetti gets powerized.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at
Yeah.
that. Because,
He gets his powers from the spaghetti.
not a major plot point, but we'll leave you figure that out. Anyways, so he gets his spaghetti powers, which he's like Spider-Man. Instead of shooting webs, he shoots spaghetti.
But all of his bodily fluids are spaghetti too. That's another important point.
Very
Blood,
important part.
Pee, anything. It's all snot. It's all spaghetti. He sneezes spaghetti. He pees spaghetti. He bleeds spaghetti.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
he's
much
obviously a little concerned about this.
a little concerned. So then he goes visits the weed doctor.
And you don't know this at first. You think he's just a normal
Yeah,
doctor.
you think he's a doctor. Oh, I guess we shouldn't have spoiled that.
That's, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, yeah, he gets a doctor. He gets prescribed weed. And then he goes and decides, you know what? Oh, no, he runs into someone getting beat up and robbed. And then he decides, you know what? We're going to try out this hero thing. Because him and Isdale had a conversation earlier about it. So he beats up these dudes.
By throwing spaghetti at them.
Which that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, we'll keep that for the
And
end.
he decides to become a superhero. And so this whole movie is about his journey as a superhero. But let's face it, he's not a superhero. He's an anti-hero because he's still a jerk.
Yep. He saves people and he wants money for it.
Pretty much. It's hilarious.
It is.
This is the superhero movie that no one wanted.
But I think we were pleasantly surprised by.
I was pleasantly surprised. I was really scared it was going to be like another Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Yeah.
Because this movie has great quality. Well, I shouldn't say great. It's good quality.
Decent. For a B movie, it's decent.
I disagree. For a B movie, I think it's great.
I would put it like above Velocipaster, but below Moose.
You thought Moose was better?
In terms of cinematography, I would give Moose a slightly better rating.
Yeah, because in the movie, there's like points where he like focuses out on like faces and stuff.
Yeah.
So I get that, but Moose had like horrible coloring throughout the movie, but it was purposeful horrible coloring, so I don't know if you could count that.
I'm gonna go with Moose. In terms of cinematography, Moose, Spaghetti Man, Velocipaster.
I would say Spaghetti Man, Moose, Velocipaster.
Close enough.
Actually, I would throw Attack of the Killer Donuts up there. As much as I hate
Yeah.
that movie,
We'll
the
give it
cinematography was good.
We'll give it credit for what it was.
So, in my vote, Spaghetti Man, Moose, Attack of the Killer Donuts, and then yeah. Anyways, so, but yeah, it's about a movie about an anti-hero.
Yep.
It's not quite like Deadpool. It's not as gruesome or
there's some
gory.
Yeah. There's some light swearing.
Yeah, light swearing.
Stuff, a little bit, I think, a couple things you have to worry about, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, not really bad at all.
And we can't really tell you about the villain for this movie without spoiling anything, because it's a major plot point.
Yeah, it's a major plot point finding out who the villain is. We won't say who it is.
But there's some decent fight scenes, I will say, though. This movie surprised me with having...
Yeah.
With what the villains were, having decent fight scenes and memorable characters.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene where they bring in more villains to help them out. And that's not a spoiler. You know, they're gathering villains to help them fight. And each one of the people they introduce is memorable. And they each have their own personality, similar to Moose.
Yeah, all the characters were memorable. There wasn't one character where you were like, oh, that's just kind of a throw-in.
Yeah.
But, like, except for, like, the characters that are kind of in and out that he rescues.
Right, yeah. They
But
don't
even
matter
then,
as much, but
they're
the
like-
actual characters.
They're, like, kind of a group of, like... Of character. Anyways, sorry. I won't say anything else about that. But, yeah, every character is memorable. Great. Even minor ones.
So let's talk about, then, the effects. For what it was, the spaghetti effects were kind of done well.
Well, it's because they were actual spaghetti.
Yeah, they used real
didn't-
spaghetti.
Yeah.
But they made the spaghetti believable, I feel like.
I feel like they chose spaghetti because it's cheap.
That's true.
I feel it was probably actual spaghetti.
I mean, it had to have been regular spaghetti. I mean, you just boil up a pot, and
Yeah.
a lot of this movie involved him flicking his wrists and spaghetti flying out Spider-Man style.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is, I don't know, they don't really explain it in the movie, but the spaghetti was, like, dense. Like, whenever it hit a guy, it knocked him out. So that's how they explained this. It wasn't just, like, me throwing spaghetti at Edward here in the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, that would hurt, but it wouldn't knock him out. Like,
And-
this was dense spaghetti.
And like at the one point, you used like his spaghetti as like nunchucks,
Yeah.
sort of. They were like whiplash nunchucks.
They, like, came out of his wrists, and he grabbed onto them, and it's like a thick rope twisted of spaghetti.
Yeah.
And he just beat people up with it.
So I think the real question is, how fast does spaghetti have to travel in order to knock someone out?
Mythbusters. If you're ever going to have a reunion,
That's the shit. That's the topic. That's
how
the
fast
topic
does
to tackle.
spaghetti need to travel to knock someone out? We'll be anxiously waiting your response. Even just Adam Savage. Adam Savage, if you're listening, we will meet you anywhere with spaghetti and we will test this out.
Yeah. There's another guy on YouTube that does weird science stuff like that. Crap, what's his name?
Mark Rober?
Well, sorry, him too, but no, he like partners with Game Theory. What's his name? Austin.
If any YouTube scientists are out there and you want to test out how fast spaghetti travels to knock someone out, let us know.
There's also like formulas for that and stuff, so it's not too difficult, I think.
That's boring.
Yeah, I'm not doing
I'm
it.
gonna beat people with spaghetti until they get knocked out.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, that's the movie. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty
there's
much
more
the
we could
movie.
talk about, but that in and of itself is the movie. Man gets spaghetti powers.
Yeah, and he turns into anti-hero. The movie
Yeah.
itself is... It's just a lot of
Filler.
funny... I wouldn't even... No, it's just funny dialogue.
Yeah,
That's what kind of carries the movie.
it does. I mean, the main actor was a very good
He was
actor
good.
for this.
I think the dialogue in some points was kind of like...
It was cheesy.
It was some of it was bad acting in some areas, but it was like light bad acting. It wasn't like in Guns of the Apocalypse, where it's like you knew they were reading. It felt like they were reading off a script.
Guns of the Apocalypse.
There
was
were
awful.
touches of that throughout, but it wasn't like full on read
Yeah.
off a script. So
But no, I thought this movie, was, for what it was, a pleasant surprise in terms of B movies.
oh yeah, this was like Moose level
Yeah.
of like top. They really tried with this movie.
Yeah, you could tell some passion went into this. It wasn't just
Oh, yeah.
Guns of the Apocalypse where it was three guys in a backyard going, "What can we make for the cheapest budget?" I don't know, Guns of the Apocalypse.
yeah.
No, they were like, someone had to think of this idea.
Mhm.
You know, it was unique. Spaghetti Man.
Which, by the way, the main character,
Mm-hmm.
the guy that played Clark, he wrote it. Someone else directed it, but he wrote the scripts.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
You know what else I'm realizing reviewing this movie? Spaghetti is a fun word to say.
it is a fun word.
Say it, it's liberating.
Spaghetti.
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 Spaghetti. This is how we're doing the rest of the show from now on. All of our discourse will
Spaghetti.
just be spaghetti.
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 Yeah, spaghetti.
Yeah, spaghetti.
Spaghetti, spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
I think we lost like 5 listeners.
If they tuned out hearing us talk about spaghetti, we don't want them on our show.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're here for the spaghetti or you're not here at all.
Okay. Do we want to mention that? Oh, so throughout the movie, do you want to talk about his mask?
Yeah, okay. That's a good point. We should
Yeah.
talk about that.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry. Before we get in, I want to talk to your point because you actually didn't really. You weren't a huge fan of this film.
It's not that I wasn't a huge fan of this film. I just felt similar to Attack of the Killer Donuts. I feel like the plot was moving, but I didn't feel it moving anywhere, if that makes sense.
Really.
The plot was advancing. It wasn't like they just stayed in one place.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like it was just kind of an aimless ramble on into, I don't know, nowhere. It had a decent ending, but I just felt like it rambled on the entire time.
Interesting. I thought that the movie carried itself really well. Like, I could see what you're saying about like those filler moments, but those filler moments were used to build the characters. Like, I didn't feel like anything was wasted time-wise, and even if it was like for the heck of it or for humor, it was funny and it entertained me all the way through. There was no point where I was bored. Personally.
I wouldn't even say I was bored. I'd just say it rambled on aimlessly is what I'm going to say. Like, I didn't feel like the plot was cohesive enough.
Interesting.
I feel like I would compare it only in the way the plot moved to Attack of the Killer Donuts. In no other way except how the plot moved. Because, you know,
That's pretty rough if you're comparing it to Killer. Attack of the
only
Killer
for that
Donut.
one point, though. Not for any of the other flaws that movie carried,
Interesting.
which were a great many.
Yeah. Man, I'm surprised because I had the complete opposite. I was pretty much
Well, you know,
Interested
agree
the
to
entire way
disagree.
through. yeah.
That's what makes this show great, is debate.
Is it? Oh, this show like our show. Okay, yeah.
So, Spaghetti Man's Mask.
Yeah, Spaghetti Man's Mask.
It's a paper bag.
It's a paper bag, yeah, which is on the cover of the. I think there's a trailer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
You can
a
watch the trailer on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
Go watch the trailer for Spaghetti Man. Then decide for yourselves. Do I want to sit through this? Or do I want to go watch something entertaining?
Which I would suggest watching it if you're, especially if you're into like superhero stuff. You want
Yeah.
something different from the repetitive Marvel movies. They're good, just repetitive, or the dubious DC movies.
So if you've got nothing better to do, and you're looking to kill about an hour and a half,
Yeah, I
go
think
watch
it's-
Spaghetti Man.
yeah. I would recommend this movie.
I would recommend this movie. As much as I felt like it, you know, kind of shambled along, it was still a decently entertaining film.
Really,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Just the spaghetti was pretty, watching him sling spaghetti was something else.
All right. Well, you can have your opinion, and I'll have mine. Okay, so we have 5 minutes left, so we do need to wrap up a little bit. So, where would you put Spaghetti Man in your list of movies that we've seen?
Okay. My listing...
This is where our listing, diverts. Because so far we've had a similar listing, but...
I feel like my ranking would go Velocipaster, Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter...
Okay.
Moose, Spaghetti Man, Guns of the Apocalypse.
Wow.
Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. So here's...
I gotta give Moose over Spaghetti Man just because it was a wild, entertaining ride.
See, Moose, my problem with Moose, it was too awkward at times. They had cringe, and cringe was funny, but, sometimes the cringe was too much for me. I thought.
That's
so.
fair.
Here's my... I'm going to start from bottom to top. Attack of the Killer Donuts. Dead last.
Yeah,
Guns of the Apocalypse.
Of course.
I'm going to have to go Moose. I feel like I saw Velocipaptor, Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, and Spaghetti Man, right?
Yep.
Those are the 3 I have left?
Those are the 3 you have left to rank.
Ooh. See, the thing about Spaghetti Man and Velocipaptor / Jesus Christ, you like them for different reasons.
Yeah. But just in terms of how you overall enjoyed them.
Yeah. That's rough. Because there's things I like more about Spaghetti Man than I like about Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter and Velocipaster, and then vice versa.
I feel like Velocipaster I'm always going to rank number 1 because that was the first B movie I really got into, and
enough.
it left a special impression on me just because of how bad but how endearing it was.
Yeah.
If I saw that in the stores on DVD, I would pick it up because it's not available on Amazon Prime Video anymore. Would I pick up Spaghetti Man? No. Would I pick up Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter? Strong maybe. Just to own that piece of art.
I don't know. That might be too controversial to put on my shelf, to be honest.
You got a good point there.
All right, you know what? You're right. That's how I'm going to list it out. Attack of the Killer Donuts, Guns of the Apocalypse, Moose, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, Spaghetti Man, Velocipaster.
Ooh, that's based. Yeah.
Now this could change. I did watch this movie at midnight. So I might have been too tired.
I watched it at 3 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Well, I take that back. I watched it at 4 a.m.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, I was a productive little beaver last night.
Fair
what
enough.
are productive beavers?
So maybe my opinion of it will change up when I have a...
See, I feel like the way I justify my ranking...
Okay.
Velocipaster, I just enjoyed. Because
that's a really
it's
good
endearing.
Movie. Yeah.
Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, I feel like will always hold a special place in my heart. Because that was the first one we reviewed outside of
that is true. Yes,
everything else, and just
it was very Velocipaster-esque,
and it set up just a precedent that we can never beat again. I feel like
there's gonna be no other movies like Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
Moose I put on there just because it was so entertaining with the puppets, and everything else in it.
Puppets,
just everything about the movie felt entertaining.
Okay,
then Spaghetti Man because I enjoyed it. Guns of the Apocalypse simply because it's not as good as Moose. Or Spaghetti Man, but not as good as, or not as bad as Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Oof.
And then Attack of the Killer Donuts just because it's a dumpster fire, trash, horrible nightmare that should never be watched by human eyes.
Yeah. I can understand that. Okay, we do need to wrap up because it's close to 6 and other people are coming in. So, thank you guys so much for listening to our show. It's great to have listeners and not just us talking into thin air, literally.
Do you know how we end the show?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
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 Spaghetti?
In unison.
Spaghetti.